It's state tournament week in Minnesota high school basketball. Today on CCX, a quarterfinal round game in Class 4A. The White Bear Lake Bears, 21-7, taking on the 24-4 Wayzata Trojans. From downtown Minneapolis and Target Center, John Jacobson and Ryan Iverson. And Ryan, what a thrill for White Bear Lake. Their first state tournament appearance in 23 years. They knock off Eastridge in the Section 4 final to get to state.
Well, and we always talk about, too, John, you want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the year. Well, they're on a 10-game winning streak. They beat Eastridge, who had beat them twice previously during the season, Woodbury as well. So they're playing well. They're believers. They got a great player. This time of year, you know, if you have a star player that can get hot, you can win any game, and it's why it's March Madness. I'm excited for that town and community. I know they're fired up.
For Wayzata, they're frequent visitors here. We remember back in 2017, that was their breakthrough year. They hadn't been to the state since 1959. Now they've been 2017, 18, 21, and 22 and 23 now.
That's old news. We can't use that slogan anymore. They are maybe the powerhouse here in the state of Minnesota, and a lot of it's to that guy on the left right there is Brian Schnettler. I think he's as good of a coach as there is in the state, and he's got these kids playing really well. You and I did the Lakeville North Wayzata game earlier in the year, and they lost, and they started the season 0-3, and you kind of wondered, is this maybe a down year? And he's gotten them to really buy in. They've been on a tear ever since.
Let's look at our key players, starting with the Bears. And the 6'5 senior, Jack Janicki, can do a lot of things for White Bear Lake.
Yeah, he really can. And I got a chance to see him during the AAU season this past summer. And he is kind of that master, jack of all trades, master of none. He can do and play so many roles. They need him to score. And he sees 21 points per game, going to Wisconsin next year. And he's got the size to post up. He can shoot from the outside. He's athletic. And he's a really cerebral player, too. And they're going to need him. I look at this matchup, John, from afar, and I think White Bear Lake's got to figure out how to score 65 to 70 points, which is a little bit more than they're used to scoring, because we know Wayzata is going to put the ball in the basket. That young man right there has got to have a big game scoring the ball tonight.
For Wayzata, we know about Hayden Tibbetts, Mr. Basketball finalist, Jackson McAndrew, highly recruited junior, but we really like the game of Spencer Hall, senior captain.
We do, and he kind of had his coming out party last year at this time. Remember how good he was at the second half of the season last year and into the playoffs, and he's going to have his hands full. He's going to have to guard Janicki tonight and really shut him down. He's got the size, the height, smart kid, going to school Emory in Atlanta next year, really good academic school, but I love his game, and he kind of does it all. He can score and rebound, defend, and just really, really versatile, really, really smart.
For Wayzata, they've been here before, right? Most of these kids have played on this court before, and it's been through these tournaments. White Bear Lake, a new experience. Does that make a difference come today?
It does. It really does. And I hate to say that, because at the end of the day, it's just playing basketball. But when you're at the Target Center, and we talk about it every year, the depth perception is different. You're playing in this large arena. Your school is excited. Your family. I mean, it's a big deal. And having that experience, it helps you prepare for that. And you hear kind of like the Super Bowl. You hear guys that have played in past Super Bowls, right? How to control your emotions, how not to peak too early in warm-ups. The court seems bigger. Everything just seems bigger. So it does matter, and I always say whoever just can get that nerve out of the way and start playing basketball, start executing. That's why, John, I think for White Bear Lake, getting off to a good start. If it's 10-2 Wayzata right from the get-go, they're going to be playing uphill the rest of the way. If White Bear Lake can get off to a good start, have that confidence, then we could be in for a great game.
Park Center, Eastview, and Lakeville North have all won. Winner of this game will join them in the semifinals on Thursday night. We'll come back and tip this one off. Wayzata White Bear Lake high school boys basketball next on CCX. Welcome back to the Target Center in Minneapolis. The fourth and final quarterfinal round game in Class 4A. White Bear Lake unseeded and the number 3 seed, the Wayzata Trojans. Let's look at the bracket in Class 4A. Game started at 10 a.m. The top seed and defending state champion Park Center kicking out Andover 92-72. Eastview, a good game against Minnetonka, won by 4. And Lakeville North dispatching of Buffalo 87-59.
You know, it's funny, they always give the top seed that early morning game, and that's always the toughest one, John, to bring the energy. So when I saw that score, and Andover can be tricky. They got a couple of scores. That's a really good first step in defending the title for Park Center. Not surprised the other two. I thought Eastview would win that, and yeah, it should be Lakeville North too. So it's gonna leave us with 4 good teams, that's for sure.
Let's look at the starters for White Bear Lake. The forwards, Wyatt Hawks, a 6'8 senior, Zach Nelson, a 6'2 senior. Their guards, Jack Janicki, a 6'5 senior, Jeremy Kolb, a 5'11 senior, and Jack Midskin, a 6'1 senior. For Wayzata, Isaiah Hopte, a 6'5 senior, Hayden Tibbetts, a 5'11 senior, Jake Schmidt, a 6'1 senior, Spencer Hall, a 6'3 senior. The guards along with the junior, the 6'9 Jackson McAndrew. Tip won by Wayzata and Tibbetts with the ball in the front court in our opening possession of the game. All drive and got cut off on the baseline. They'll come back out on a pass to Schmidt. Middle drive, back to Hall. They'll take it to the basket, and Janicki gets a block on it. Last off of White Bear Lake.
Yeah, lucky break for Wayzata. That looked like it was right off of Spencer's hands there. But there's Janicki with the length. You see a 6'5", and that's tricky to get that block without falling.
I think it was.
Yeah, that's a good break.
Referees can't go to the monitor, though, and White Bear Lake doesn't matter. They turn Wayzata over here, and now they get the ball for the first time, and Janicki will bring it up into the front court.
Yeah, that's a matchup to really keep an eye on. I think Spencer Hall is as good of a defender as there is in the state. He can guard bigs, guards, medium, and if he can slow Janicki down, that's going to be really big for White Bear Lake's offense.
3-ball missed by Jeremy Kolb and rebounded by Wayzata. Tibbetts, a Mr. Basketball finalist. He'll drive the paint, trying to get to the basket, and gets fouled. No go to the line for 2.
John, I know we're not supposed to have fans, you know, or be fans and cheering, but he has been one of my favorite players to just watch play over the last 2 years. He's so quick, so good, he's strong. And you can see it doesn't look like there's any lane available. Just a little pass fake allows him to get to the rim, drawing fouls. And he was huge down the stretch in that region final win against Hopkins last week. Had a tremendous year.
It's the first free throw up and in. 85% free throw shooter, the senior. Uncommitted for next year as of now.
You always, it's always the broadcaster jinx. You say what a good free throw shooter they are, and then there's the miss.
Janicki out on the sideline. Hopte popped out on him. Gets it in the hands of Hawks, and shot not good. Hopte with the rebound.
Yeah, and it's important for White Bear Lake, John, to get one of these makes early on, right? Just to see the ball go in, kind of get the mysteria of playing at the target center out of the way.
Hopte, a long three, banks it in.
We're sitting here at the target center. We have a pretty good angle of that shot, and I thought that is not looking good, but the bank is open.
Midskin getting it into the hands of Cole. Back out high, and Nelson swings it around to Janicki.
Yeah, I would almost say my one downfall with Janicki, I've seen him play enough, is almost want him to be more selfish. He's too unselfish. There's a nice big move by Hawks, and he's their second scorer, just under 15. Nice strong move, and they get their first points. That's huge.
They like to get the ball inside to him. Tibbetts has it knocked away and off of Tibbetts. He lost it. So it's a turnover for Wayzata.
Yeah. Here's a look at that drive. Kick, great drive and kick. That's Wayzata basketball, and it doesn't matter how it goes in as long as it goes in. And this is big because I think with his size, if Hawks can get going down low, that could be a matchup problem for Wayzata.
Colby went down, but White Bear Lake keeping the ball. Left side, Nelson. And into Midskin's hand and back out to Nelson. Janicki will start a drive. And dish off wide open underneath. Midskin for 2.
And he won't force shots. And you're going to see tonight, he is a smart player. A lot of stars would force that. A tough, mid-range contested jump shot. Instead, he makes just a great basketball play.
Schmidt cut off, has to come back out on the pass to Tibbetts. Hob tee, corner three, Tibbetts.
Yep. That's big. And you see Wayzata, I always tell people if you watch them play, they're just so good at driving and kicking, and they've rarely taken extra dribble or hold on to the ball too long. They see a guy, they kick it, and if they can get going from the three-point line, they are very tough to defend.
Kolb comes in from the corner, tough drive to the basket. He gets fouled. They'll go to the line for two.
Yeah, good two for White Bear Lake. Get some other guys opportunities, get them involved early. It was happy we saw him knock a three down, and you got to help on drives, but you can't overhelp, especially on that young man. And when he gets going, he can make them from all over the court.
Fouls on Tibbetts, his first. Free throw up and in for the senior Jeremy Kolb. Averages 6 points per game. Honorable mention player this year of the Suburban East Conference.
Yeah, just a solid player. I watched some tape on him. He can knock down the three. He'll drive and put it on the ground. Really good defender as well.
That makes both free throws, and White Bear Lake getting back to within one.
Yeah, how about a little full court press here. White Bear Lake, we talked about the pace. Wayzata probably wanting to get it. Yeah, there's a turnover. Trying to get that pace up and going, and there White Bear Lake creates a turnover, steals a possession.
Well, they force McAndrew to the sidelines. Look at Brian Schneller, 8th year as head coach, and we mentioned they've been to state now 5 times since 2017. State champions 2 years ago, and lost in a close 4A title game last year to Park Center.
You got to remember too, last year they didn't have Camden Heidi. Remember him?
Yeah.
He went to a kind of a private school getting ready. He's at Purdue now. You wonder if they would have had him, what that could have been like too.
Nice drive by Minsky, and he gets his second basket. White Bear Lake in the lead.
Yeah, strong move. You can see he's a big, strong kid, 6'1". And I love White Bear Lake right now. No fear. They're attacking.
Drive, tough shot there for Hall. Not good. Tibbetts gets the loose ball, gets it back out. 3 ball, too long, and a whistle as Bennigan missed on the 3. And we're going to get a foul, loose ball foul against Wayzata.
Yeah, well, this will be big to see who it's. Oh, good. They didn't give it to Tibbetts. That one's. I think they got Birkland on the push, yeah.
There's a look at Greg Burke, 2nd year as head coach at White Bear Lake. Really wanted to bring a kind of a defense-first attitude to the job. Was on Osseo staff for a long time. Was part of their state championship staff 11 years ago, but worked with, we know Coach Tyson and Coach Swanson well, and worked and coached a lot of good kids in that program. 3 ball up and good. That is Nelson with his first basket, and White Bear Lake off to a good start, Ryan, here in the first 4 minutes. Well, they lead 11-7.
It's exactly what they needed to do.
And Wayzata's had a lot of turnovers early.
Yeah, Tibbetts got all the way there, just defended a little bit. Here's
Janicki's shot comes out, rebound. Nelson had it, and then it ends up in the hands of Hall. Quick outlet to Tibbett. Trying to take it to the basket, lost the ball. No foul call, I don't think. Who's it going to be off? Yeah, it's off of Tibbetts.
Yeah, and I think they'll take that because that maybe could have been a charge too. So I think Wayzata happy to take that turnover.
Yeah, better turnover than an offensive foul there.
Yeah, and White Bear Lake, you coming in, you're not expected to win this game. So, and you're new to the state tournament, new to the Target Center, coming off and getting a good start. So big for their confidence.
Yeah, I asked Coach Schneller, I said, does it help that you guys have been here? And he said, yes, but the first time they made it back in 2017, he said, we played Lakeville North in the quarterfinals, a team that had been here like 10 years in a row, and we won that game. So past success does not necessarily mean you're going to win this time around,
and
right?
It's new team, new players, new roles, everything, but it does have that, when you're the favorite too. Oh, there's a nice deep. Oh, they're going to get him out of bounds.
Ben Schaefer with a steal, couldn't keep that left foot in bounds.
Yeah, one thing too you'll see is Coach Nettler, he was out of bounds, definitely good call. Coach Nettler not afraid to go to the bench. He's already gone 9 deep. And right now you're seeing out there's only 2 starters on the floor. And I think just keeping them fresh helps them and helps them be able to apply pressure. And 8th state appearance, I remember, was it 17 when they were the first time they were there? And that graphic that you saw all weekend, that it's been 740 years since they had been to a state tournament. And now they're definitely used to being here, and deservedly so.
Contrary to what you think, I was not a part of the media when they won their state title in 59.
You were just a toddler then. You
wasn't even that.
See, Janicki's got the height here, and you can see he knows he can see it. He's going to back him down, try to force a double team, and you'll see he'll make the right play out of it.
Hopsey gives up the pass. Excuse me, Ryan. Gave it up to Sawyer Collins, who's into the game. Josh Dogger, 32, in for White Bear Lake. Pressure on Hopsey. Dogger, good defense, and able to get the pass off, though. Berkland slips it to Schmidt. Back out, Hopsey. On Dogger, picks up the dribble and back out to Schmidt.
I'd like to see Hopsey keep going there. He's got a step. He's got that great length. Nice rebound. Good finish.
With the finish.
Hopsey's got that quickness, John. If he took one more dribble, I think he could finish at the rim. But a heads-up play by Nepstead. He gives him great energy off the bench.
Miskin, his team leading by 2. 11.5 minutes to go in the first half here at Target Center. Dogger, and Schaefer got a hand on it, knocks it out of bounds.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, too. Here's a look at nice finish there, just a little strong and being in the right place. Nice left-hand finish. I think when you scout for Wayzata, you don't realize how much they pressure you and get in the passing lanes. And some of those cross-court passes, Wayzata's going to be there, and they've almost gotten a number of them already.
Jack Setterlin will inbound here for White Bear Lake, and does to Janicki. Schmidt now guarding him, popping out. Hawks, who's back into the game. Opti keeping a hand on him. Back over to Janicki. Spins. Shovels a pass across the opposite corner. Good defense there by Schaefer.
Yeah, closing out and then not giving him a driving lane, too.
Didn't allow Kolb anywhere to go. Kolb will lob it in. Hawks above the block. Spins on Hopti to the basket for 2.
That was great footwork. I thought he might have had some contact there, too. I love that quick spin baseline using his length. He's 6'8", so other than McAndrews, not a lot of size on Wayzata that can match up with him. Let's see if White Bear Lake tries to exploit that.
Schaefer 3 is long, rebounded by Schmidt. Nice little bounce pass, and Nepsted's got a second basket.
And Schmidt's kind of one of those unsung heroes, John. He's always in the right place at the right time. He hits big shots. There he gets a rebound, immediately knowing where his teammate is. And Nepsted with 4 big points here so far off the bench.
Schaefer, tough defense on Setterlin, is able to give the pass up to Hawks. Well, knocked away from behind. Tippett's got a hand on that and forces a turnover. Now back into hands of Hayden Tibbetts. Hesitation, move. Goes to the basket, reverse, can't get it to go, and the rebound to Hawks.
That was a lot of jelly, John, and no toast. That was a heck of a move, a little hesitation. Blew by the defender and just couldn't quite hit the reverse.
Janicki for 3, not good. Rebounded by Hopti. Janicki has not scored yet. Tibbetts has scored 4. McAndrews not scored for Wayzata. Was the other player I was going to mention. He's getting ready to check in.
Yep, shot attempt, and that's definitely, when you're playing them, you don't want to give him open looks. How about Nepstad?
It's the Drew Nepstad show. 6 points now. And Wayzata's tied it up.
I told you he should have been our key player tonight. He refused to listen to me, John. He's been great.
Nelson, long 3 is good. He's knocked down a couple. Wayzata back in, or White Bear Lake back in front.
Yeah, and he only averages 5 points on the year, coming in and giving them 2 threes. Talk about a spark plug. And wait, when you're playing a really good team like Wayzata, you got to have guys kind of have some of those career nights, right? Knock shots out that maybe they normally don't.
Hopti has made 2 threes. He's another guy that averages less than what he's already got. 6 points now on the day.
Yeah, 2 threes as well. And the pace right now favors Wayzata. A lot of good scoring up and down. This kind of scoring. And they're letting them play too out there, which I like.
Janicki trying to post up on Schmidt. And his pass intercepted. Tibbetts stepping in the passing lane. Quickness getting to the basket. Tibbetts with 6 points.
Yeah, what I'd like to see is Janicki, he's given that ball up too quick in that post. He's got to take another couple dribbles and either draw that, there's a timeout, draw the double team or look to score right away. He's got that height advantage. How about the speed there? That makes me feel old and chubby, John.
Look at the last couple of three-pointers. Again, the kick, this time to Hopty.
That one a little bit smoother than the bank one that we saw first, but I want you to watch there's another three by Nelson, yeah.
That NBA range.
Yeah, and that can screw people up too. You'll see a lot of guys their first time playing at the Target Center. You know, they know where their line is, but in your peripheral, you'll see that NBA line. You end up shooting further out than you normally are used to or would want to.
Winner today will play in the semifinals, 8 o'clock Thursday night here at Target Center against Lakeville North.
And that's going to be a battle. I really believe that the three best teams I've seen all year are Lakeville North, Park Center, and Wayzata. And seeing all three of those, if Wayzata is able to advance, is Nolan Winters.
Lakeville North watching this one.
And remember, we did that game earlier in the year, and it was pretty close until the very end. Ended up being a 9-point game at Wayzata. That'll be a fun one, too.
The loser of this game's got to come right back and play at noon tomorrow at Concordia Academy in the second consolation semifinal.
Well, and it's great that they still get to play, but it just feels so different, doesn't it? After playing in the Target Center at night.
Right. You got
good step throw.
Not good on the shot, and we're going to get a foul called on Wayzata. Good try by Hawks, but we'll get a foul whistled instead on Wayzata.
Yeah, I like when big guys do that. Watch him go up. He knew right away. Look at him go right after that. And a lot of times you're the shooter. You kind of know where that ball might go, and he just beat everyone to the ball there. Great effort.
First foul on Schmidt, third team foul on Wayzata. Just one foul so far on White Bear Lake.
Yeah, pretty clean game. It's been physical, but I like the referees letting them play a little bit.
They pick up the dribble, but the pass comes back out to Mizgin. Hawks has got a couple of baskets and comes back out high instead to Collins.
And you can see the patience White Bear Lake will use offensively. That's why their scores are a lot of times in the 50s, low 60s at most. They're very deliberate offensively. And they take care of the basketball for the most part, too.
Mizgin, Tibbetts on him. Of the free throw line, Hawks back out. Corner three ball from Mizgin. Way off and rebounded by Schmidt. Spencer Hall to the front court. Hall, little hesitation, puts the shot up. He gets fouled to go to the line for two.
Well, Sawyer Collins, number 12, got a hand on it. It just shows the strength of Spencer Hall. He kind of bobbled it, but still able to go up and get the shot off. Yeah, and I think, Wayzata up two at this point with, if you look, McAndrews with 0 and Spencer Hall with 0. I think you'd take that right now.
Yeah, hits all sides of the rim, but doesn't drop for Spencer Hall. Averaging nearly 12 points per game.
Yeah, he's just kind of that, reminds me of a Scottie Pippen type, right? That can guard maybe 1 through 5. He's quick enough to guard guards. He's strong and tall enough to guard bigs. Can score, can shoot, rebound, kind of does everything. Just makes good decisions for the Trojans.
Gets the second one in. Corey Rahim, a sophomore, number 23, in for White Bear Lake, and gets the pass here in the front court.
Yeah, and that's where Janicki at 6'5" is nice because he can, beautiful little double clutch. He can look right over the top, throw the ball over against pressure. He's got great length. His first bucket.
Tibbetts. Off to McAndrew. Quick shoot three, and not good. Rebounded, though, by Hall. Up to the basket. That won't go. And the rebound secured by Janicki.
Yeah, and I always think, too, with McAndrews, John, he's such a good shooter. But with his size, get him something down low, right? Get him a little 5-6 footer. Let him see the ball go in. Then get out to the perimeter where he's so deadly shooting the ball.
Baseline drive up and in and one. That's the third basket for the senior, Jack Mizgin.
Yeah, and a great delivery by Hawks. Didn't force it, drew the double team, and a nice little cut. And I'll tell you, great job just kind of hanging on to it, allowing Mizgin to get in position to catch that. Takes a little contact, able to finish.
Back and forth here in the first half. Mizgin misses on the free throw and Hall rebounds. His fourth rebound already. Tibbetts will walk it up. Under 5.5 minutes to go, and McAndrew able to knock down his first basket today.
And what I love about Jackson too, John, is he could be 0 for 7, and if he's got a look, he's going to keep taking. He shoots with tremendous confidence, and they don't beat Hopkins the other night if he doesn't get hot there down the stretch. Hit a couple of big threes, and they need him hitting and shooting from the outside.
Birkeland trying to skip a pass through. It's a lot of traffic. Hall grabs it away, gets it back out to Tibbetts and knocks down a three.
Potential turnover. Instead, Hall gets it. You could tell he wanted to maybe drive that and maybe force between two defenders. Good communication. He found Tibbetts. Tibbetts having a big game, 9 points already.
Biggest lead for Wayzata at 5 points. The cut and the block out of bounds. Hall is able to block the shot from Raheem.
And Birkeland did a great job too, sliding over, ready to take a charge. And Hall showing off that athletic ability, just pounds it like a volleyball out of bounds.
He'll get a break now. Janicki, bounce pass inbounds. And White Bear Lake losing it underneath. In the hands of Birkeland.
Tough shot, contested three there. There's a coast to coast. Almost looking like Tibbetts out there taking the ball and just great speed.
That's Ben Schaefer, the junior, with his first basket. And now Wayzata up by 7 on an 8-0 run here. And
you'll see Ben too. He plays great pressure defense. He's going to be a guy that's going to get a huge role next year and getting some valuable time.
Good defense by McAndrew and Nebstead. And Janicki, the both Wayzata guys felt like it was off of Janicki, and the referees conferred briefly it'll stay with White Bear Lake.
Well, even though that didn't work out for Janicki, it got blocked. I like seeing that kind of a move. He's got that good kind of slithery body and length to finish, get into the rim there.
Raheem lobbing the inbound to Piper. Free throw line, Janicki too strong, rebounded by Nebstead. Into the hands of Schmidt. Jake Schmidt, McAndrew, deep three.
Just some miscommunication defensively. You have to have an ultimate awareness on where McAndrews is. That time he was able to catch, kind of fumbled that, but able to get his feet set, take his time, and nail it.
Quick three missed by Kolb. Wayzata's got it again. McAndrew fumbled it off to Schmidt.
Oh, nice pass.
Wide open, Schaefer three.
Nice pass. That's just great unselfish basketball, John. Could have had his own layup. Sees a shooter open, delivers it. Jake Schmidt with a great play.
Look at the last couple of threes. McAndrew wide open.
Yeah, just uncontested. You can't leave him open, especially after he just hit one, too, in a nice rhythm. Here's Schmidt. I thought he could have taken a tough left-handed layup there. Instead, they're always looking to kick that out to an open shooter. Schaefer knocks it down. He's given them some good minutes as well tonight.
14-0 run now for Wayzata. They've opened up their biggest lead, obviously, of the night.
Well, and that's the thing. I thought White Bear Lake came out really started strong. And you and I talked in the pregame about just the pace and scoring enough points. They got to keep scoring because Wayzata is just too good offensively. They're going to keep scoring. You gotta match them.
The Wayzata fans happy, excited. Got to be careful there.
That's how you and I do the broadcast.
Right.
I usually hop on my shoulders as well.
You have amazing strength. You can lift me up.
Yeah, and that's what's tricky too in a game like this. as an underdog like White Bear Lake, you can feel like, man, we played pretty good, and all of a sudden you look and it's a 13-point game already.
So Wayzata, or White Bear Lake rather, will try to regroup here, and Ryan, try to get that to single digits before halftime, right? These last 3.5 minutes are crucial for them. And then the steal right off of that is taken away by Birkeland as he gets the steal on Raheem.
Yeah, the other thing I really like about Wayzata, John, is everyone knows their role on that team. There's a little pick and pop, another open look for McAndrews, just a little short. But, you know, you got a guy like Jake Birkeland who's not going to score a ton for you always, but there you see his hustle play. He's that type of player. We saw him in position to take a charge. Everyone kind of knows their role, and they all do it really well.
3-ball, this time missed by Nelson. Rebounded by the Trojans as Schaefer will bring it up to the front court. Thought about the three, gives it off to McAndrew. He'll drive and lost the ball out of bounds, knocked away by White Bear Lake.
Well, even though he didn't get all the way home, I like to see the big fella put the ball on the deck like that, making moves. He's got that good length and strength too, and the more he's able to drive, the more cushion he'll get on his threes as well.
Schmidt one dribble on the block to Hall. Spins, gets a nice move on the bigger player Nelson, able to score.
Yeah, thicker, and then that time Hall uses quickness, great spin baseline. That's a tough finish, John, when you don't have the backboard either, too, but nice move. And right now, offensively, Wayzata really firing on all cylinders.
Handoff into the hands of Kolb. Down low, Mizgin doubles teamed. Inch in trouble, kicks it back out. 3-ball, that is up and in. Zach Nelson is third three.
Where would they be without his shooting? He's, again, we said only averaging 5. It was almost doubled that big, timely 3 to stop the run here that Wayzata's been on.
That was 16 in a row for Wayzata until that Nelson 3. Minute and a half to play here in the first half. Nice pass, but Hall cut off. Good play by Janicki. Now Schaefer will try. Hobty, corner 3 for him. Off the mark. Hall gets a hand on it, goes down, gets the pass out. Tibbetts, that won't go. Tipped around again, Hobty underneath. Another kick out for Schaefer. Just like they drew it up.
Just great basketball, great effort too to fight, keep the rebound. You can't give a team 3 or 4 chances, especially a team that shoots as well as Wayzata does. And I'll tell you, Schaefer's had a heck of a game. He's got 10 points already.
Scoreboard has him for 10. I have him for 8. We'll see. We've had some issues the last 2 weeks with the official scoring and CCX scoring.
We'll split the difference. We'll say he's got 9.
Well, tipped. And finally back into the hands of Minsky, who hits from the baseline. Not an easy shot, but he hits.
No, that was a tough angle. He didn't hesitate, and he's had a good game as well, 8 points.
Regardless of the number of points, it's great contributions from both. Nepsted's Hall traveled. Nepsted and Schaefer have been big contributors scoring here in the first half.
Yeah, Wayzata's got a great balance so far. I love the effort. Watch Hall here, or this is Hapty off the kick out. And I'll tell you, White Bear Lakes, what they got to do, if you give up an offensive rebound, you got to close out on Wayzata shooters. They've had a couple of those offensive rebound kickouts for open threes. Nothing better than a shooter, John, when you get that wide open look where you can set your feet and you don't have anyone in your comfort, in your zone, you're able to just get a great shot off.
Down to 10 seconds to play in the half. Janicki with it, and his pass knocked away by Hall, who goes crashing into the scorer's table. And it'll be White Bear Lake possession. 1.7 left on the clock here.
Yeah, and Janicki, you got to be selfish there, I think. You got to drive. You got to create the shot.
Janicki long 3 at the buzzer off the back iron. We go to halftime. Well, White Bear Lake with a good start and a strong finish for Wayzata. And Ryan, the number 3 seed, looking strong there. The last 8 minutes, they're up by 13.
Well, I think you and I were kind of looking at each other when White Bear Lake had that lead, about 6 minutes in, and was getting good shots, hitting threes, scoring down low. And Wayzata just did what they did. I thought they turned up the intensity defensively, got a bunch of tips, got some steals, and then they shot the ball extremely well from 3. And when they're shooting well from the 3, they are as good or could beat any team in this state.
38-25 our score. We're back with more of our halftime in the second half of play. State 4A basketball on CCX.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there, choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Halftime at the Target Center. State 4A basketball. Wayzata leads White Bear Lake 38-25. As good as Wayzata looked the second half of that first half, Ryan, a week ago we didn't even know they were going to be here. Specifically 5 nights ago, they hosted Hopkins in the 6-4A final and able to get the win, but they trailed Hopkins for a lot of that game.
Yeah, they did, and Hopkins was really good. You could see good pressure. They shot the ball well, and it was a 12-point game with, I think, about 6.5 minutes left, and you just didn't know if Wayzata was going to be able to get all the way back, but they did. They shot the ball. There's that McAndrew 3 that I talked about during the first half. That was huge, and a great crowd, too. I think they really fed off the energy of the crowd, and they ended up getting it done, and what a big comeback that was.
Highlights from today's first half. The Hop T with an early bank 3 for Wayzata. They made a number of threes in that first half, 8 in all.
Yep.
And White Bear Lake also getting some outside baskets, but also able to get some baskets down low. Nice drive and kick there to the corner for another free ball for Wayzata.
And that's Wayzata basketball. Drive and kick, find the open shooter, give up a good shot for a great shot. Zach Nelson was huge with 3 threes there in the first half.
McAndrew left wide open, one of his 2 3-pointers that he had in the first half.
Yeah, and again, just a lot of wide open threes. You're going to see a lot of these. There's no one in the picture contesting those.
Nelson another 3, this time from the other wing. He's happy about that, but his team trailing by double digits right now. Nelson leading the way with 9 points, Mizkin with 8, Hawks with 4, so you don't see Janicki on there. He's their leading scorer, just 2 points so far. And on the Wayzata side, Tibbetts, the strong first half with 9, Schaefer off the bench with 8, and then 3 players, McAndrew, Hopty, and Nebstead with 6 each.
And I thought Nebstead came in at a time when White Bear Lake was ahead, right? He gave them some big scoring there. And I think for White Bear Lake, John, I said it in the beginning of the game, Janicki's got to be more selfish and aggressive. He's got to look to score, play with a little bit more urgency. You're down 13. You want to cut this down to single digits here right away, make it a close game. You don't want Wayzata to get 6-8 points early and put the game out of reach.
You look at last year was Park Center winning the state tournament. They defeated Wayzata in the championship game. The Trojans winners 2 years ago. No tournament 2 years ago. Remember, they got cut short the week before the state basketball tournament when the pandemic set in. Hopkins had won in 2019, a Zeke Najee-led team. Cretin-Durham Hall, a great club back in 2018. Apple Valley, some outstanding clubs. 3 state championships for them. Hopkins, another one in 16. And Osseo back in 2012. Coach Greg Burke, White Bear Lake coach, part of that staff in 2012, and Lakeville North always seems to be here. They won in 2014.
I'll tell you what, you see a lot of teams from the area that we get to cover, right? So it's been fun for us watching the high-level basketball in the kind of that northwest suburban area, and they've represented well once they've gotten to the state tournament. And I think the reason is how deep those conferences are. They're beating up on each other all year. By the time they get to the state tournament, they are battle-tested and feel like they can play with anybody.
Well, key for White Bear Lake to get off to a good start here, right? And make this back to, a couple of score game rather than it's at 13 points right now.
Yeah, and to get Janicki some easy points, right? Instead of contested threes. That's big.
Nelson
Yeah.
will get that guy the ball.
Yeah.
His fourth three of the half of the game, and he's got 12 points. Goodness.
Nice set play, and yeah, where would they be without those 12 points? Huge points by Nelson.
Schmidt off to McAndrew on the block, backing down his defender. Haven't seen him score from that area today. Misses on this shot, and the rebound pulled down by Mizgin.
No, and I like that play. I like going to him in there. I'd like to see him going to the basket instead of fading away.
Janicki, tough shot, not good. Out of bounds off White Bear Lake.
Oh, they've done a great job of defending him. He is a really good scorer and normally a really good shooter. There's that nice drive and kick. Heads up, drive, kick, and again, Nelson on fire.
Kolb with the assist on that first basket here in the second half. Hall will drive, turns the quarter, can't get the shot to go. Get it back, Tibbetts short on the three, and rebounded by Hawks.
Yeah, and that's when they were making the first half, and still a second chance opportunity. White Bear Lake's got to get that rebound, only allow Wayzata to have one chance, one crack at it.
Drive from the corner, Cole will get it off,
pass.
and Mizgin can't get it to go. Good look, but shot wouldn't go. McAndrew has it.
No, and that's a possession you can live with. You got a great look, really nice pass, got a good shot, just not able to knock it down.
Tibbetts cut off on the baseline. McAndrew will put it up and in. Right in front of the bench, and has his third three and 9 points now.
Well, and that's where having that height too, John. He's being guarded by Nelson at 6'2". Even though Nelson was in a good position, McAndrew was just able to shoot right over him.
That three not good, rebounded by Hall. Back to a 13-point lead for Wayzata. Was to start this half.
Oh, nice look.
Tibbetts to Hopti.
You know, how do you guard that, right? Tibbetts so quick, puts so much pressure on the interior of your defense because he's going downhill. You collapse, and I don't know how he saw him over there. That's just trust, knowing where your teammate's going to be.
Hawks draws a double team, trying to dribble through it, turns it over, tie up. Jump ball, it'll go over to Wayzata.
You know, watch this. There's the one to McAndrew. Look how deep that is. That's a foot behind the NBA three-point line and contested. You know, and that's great defense. Good help. Everyone rotates. And Tibbetts somehow able to see Hopti on the opposite side of the floor.
Hopti trying to fight through traffic, turned it over. White Bear Lake with the steal. Attack, and missing the shot was Hawks. Wayzata back ahead, Hall to Tibbetts for the finish.
Yeah, what could have been a layup on one end instead turns into an easy 2 points.
Hawks this time on Hopti gets back. Thought he had a block, instead commits the foul. Hawks will go to the line for two. I didn't even see him coming, and all of a sudden there's 25 defending.
Yeah, judging by his reaction, he seemed like he got a lot of ball. It seemed like a pretty clean block.
He threw up and off.
And you talk about, White Bear Lake, their defense is, and coming from Osseo, you'd expect that, right? Coach Tyson's team's always very good defensively. They're only giving up 45 points per game, and because of that, they don't have to play at a very fast pace to win some of those games, but it's a different ball game when you're playing a team that can score 80, 85 pretty efficiently.
McAndrew another three. Too strong here, but Hopti rebounds off to Tibbetts. Tibbetts into the paint. Hopti thought about the three, getting the defense quickly closed on him. Schmidt will put up a three. Short, rebounded by Hopti. Little spin move to the basket and two more.
He's been great. Hit the 3 threes. That time you forget how much length he has at 6'5". He's got those long arms. And I love that. He was going to kick it back out and instead realize how close he was to the basket, able to finish it.
Hawks to the hole. That won't go. Gets his own rebound. And a whistle. And McAndrew kind of stretching himself there. We're going to get a Wayzata foul.
Yeah, that's always scary, John, when someone goes down on the floor like that and guys are jumping around them. Number one, where you might land and turn an ankle, or two, if you land on the guy on the ground. But we've seen Hawks a couple times tonight go in, misses shot, but just great effort. Second chance going after the rebound.
And down to Nelson and in the hands of Janicki.
Yeah, he's got size right here. Let's see if they try to get him maybe down in the post.
Mizgin back for Janicki as Andrew switches out on him. Drive, tough shot. Long two, not good. And we get Hall over the back of Mizgin committing the foul.
Yeah, don't you get the feeling too that Janicki is just, he's settling for tough shots. That's a tough shot with McAndrews on you. And he's got kind of that deep release, so he's hard to block, but they're still hard makes. I'd like to see him go and attack the basket, maybe get fouled or get something easy at the rim.
Jake Berkland, Nick Benega back in for Wayzata. Ryan, they're not big scorers, but you like the energy those guys bring off the bench, don't you? 5 and 4.
They were just as responsible as anyone else in that win against Hopkins. Their energy defensively led to some layups. There's another three.
Midskin with his first three-pointer. He's got 11 points in the game, the senior.
Yeah, him and Nelson really the two scorers so far for White Bear Lake. But yeah, to your point, those guards come in, they ratchet up the defensive pressure.
Schmidt, turnaround, shot won't go. And rebounded by Janicki.
Yeah, this is where White Bear Lake, you get to stop, you got to go and convert on the other end here. Get on a little bit of a run.
Janicki, spin, another spin, turns and scores. That was a great basket. Timeout, White Bear Lake.
Well, and you can see the skill level, right? Just great poise, great pace. Never rushed or out of control. You can't speed him up. That's not easy, too. That reverse pivot as a left-hander fading away. And I think if he can get to that spot, those mid-range, those 10 to 12 feet, he can be deadly from there.
The Mr. Basketball finalists, and we see one of them on the floor today, number 1, Hayden Tibbetts. A good group of 5 players right there.
Yeah, it really is. You see some good size, too, with Kapke and Winter. And Kopetsky had a great year. He's a fun guard to watch, too, for Andover. Haven't seen Nasir Whitlock play. I've only heard really good things about him. But Hayden Tibbetts, again, you're on the number 3 team in the state. Leading scorer, just the energy and the effort and the pace, what he means to this team. He's certainly deserving as anyone else winning Mr. Basketball. I can't believe there's not a college program that hasn't tried to get Hayden Tibbetts on their team for next year.
Well, he hasn't committed yet. I don't know. Maybe people might be trying, but he hasn't made any decisions yet. Ball out of bounds, turned over to White Bear Lake. Almost a 2 underneath for the Trojans, but can't convert.
Well, sometimes these colleges they look at the measurables, how tall, how big are you, instead of just what's inside of you, how hard do you play, how quick are you.
And out of bounds, or excuse me, a turnover and a foul on White Bear Lake. We saw that in football too. We covered a lot of Maple Grove, and we saw that about Jacob Anderson especially. Like, how does he not get an offer? And if they finally, he is at Winona State, I think they got a great player. Yeah,
they did, and the same thing. He's not 6'3", 220, right? But you put him anywhere on the field, he's going to be around the football, and he seemed to always make the big play in every game. You tell me he couldn't find a place on the Gopher football team? There's no way.
Jacob Kilser, the quarterback, he didn't get offered for a long time. He ended up at Air Force Academy, where he is committed to.
And the same kind of thing. Show me a kid, John, that is faster. Nice move, nice job. I love that they're going to him in the post. Let him get a couple of easy ones. He has a tendency to roam the perimeter, but if he can get 3 or 4 of those opportunities a game, in addition to the way he shoots the ball, that's tough.
Hall and McAndrew on that last 2. Yeah, some players just get overlooked, right?
But he's as fast as anyone. Kilser, this is. There's another 3. Oh, halfway down.
Not good. Rebounded by Berkland. Hand off back to Berkland.
Nice pass.
McAndrew open 3. Yes.
And there's your example. Jake Berkland right now 0 points, but what a great play. He could have made a layup, and at this time of year, everyone wants to score in the state tournament. Oh, is that not a charge?
Mizgin getting 2.
That arm was clearly extended.
Tibbetts in a lot of traffic, not out of bounds by the Bears.
Yeah, could have forced that shot up. Instead, he kind of hung in the air, double pumped, knew right where his teammate was. You see, he gets a ball down there. He uses his offhand to finish. Very capable. This great play. And again, a wide open three with really no defense within 3 or 4 feet contesting that shot. Wayzata just shoots too well.
Lob in to Brooklyn. Benega, Hobty. So spin move all over the rim. Not good follow-up up and in. 2 points for Schaefer, who's got 10 off the bench. Take away for Wayzata. Well defended. Benega to Hall. Back to the trailer. Schaefer. Benega in the corner. Drive. Shot up and in and one.
Well, I'll tell you what, yeah, they gave up a couple of good shots from 3. And I thought, man, they're overpassing, but it ended up working out. Benega getting the and one. And nice job avoiding the charge, too. Kind of momentum brought him away. Here's a big block, too, by Benega.
Nick, who's the 4th Benega boy to play in the Wayzata program, and one more still to come.
Holy
one
bucket.
left.
Yeah, they've had some great athletes over the years, haven't they? The Benega family.
Free throw up and good. So Nick with his first 3 points of the day after the block at the other end, and now a 22-point lead for the Trojans. Janicki back out.
And good D by Spencer Hall. Again, that kind of good length and size, everything to kind of force tough. Nothing's been easy for Janicki.
Ball on the floor, and we're going to get a whistle and a foul. Or maybe just an out-of-bounds play here. Yep, out of bounds. It's over to White Bear.
And you know what else, too, John, is that Wayzata, by playing 9 guys, they got good depth. It keeps everyone fresh, too. And so when those guards come back in here, whether they're the reserves or the starters, they're rested, they got energy, and allows that intensity and that movement to continue throughout a whole game. They don't get worn down. You just see how quick they're moving.
Drive and tough play at the basket, but a foul. And Janicki, who is going back to the free throw line, or to the free throw line, I should say, for the first time tonight. He has just 2 field goals, Ryan, 1 in each hand for 4 points.
Yeah, and tough shots, right? And that one I loved. He just ripped, went baseline, and got to the rim. He didn't make it, but he drew a foul, and I think he can do that every time. And if there's any chance of White Bear Lake making this a game, he's got to continue to do that.
There's the final rankings in 4A, Park Center, Lakeville North, and Wayzata. Look like Wayzata's going to advance. East to Minnetonka. That was the 4-5 game in the quarterfinals. And it looks like, well, 4 of the top 5 teams in the state in the 4A semifinals come Thursday night.
Well, and it's fun to see upsets, but at the end of the day, you love seeing the 4 best teams standing. And, you know, that game on Thursday with Wayzata and Lakeville North, I think that's going to be as good as it gets.
Benega is fouled on his way to the basket. Go back to the line for 2.
You know, Lakeville North has the size, and they have the shooting and the guard play too. And there's a look at the Trojans there. Number 3, almost 80 points per game. We talked about it. They're 24-1 after starting 0-3. They had an 18-game winning streak earlier in the year. They playing as well as anybody.
Jeremy Cole, number 11, back in for White Bear Lake. Second one off, and Cole rebounds.
Do you remember, John, we did that game against Lakeville North?
Yes.
Remember the energy that they're playing with now, right? That driving and kicking, it just wasn't there. They weren't in sync yet early in the year. There's a nice take.
Right. And good follow-up by Hawks up and in. And part of it, I think, too, don't you think, we talked about this at the time, that, again, that was only game 3 last season. They relied so much. Pass down to Hopty, a great pass and a finish. Nepstead with the pass, Hopty with the finish. And let's talk about Hopty for a minute. I'll get back to my other point. 13 points. He averages 4 on the season. Yeah, he's 13 today.
Yeah, and he's going to be the wild card. They're going to need him. Teams are going to focus on Tibbetts. They know Spencer Hall. They know McAndrews. If they can get that scoring, and that production out of Habty in the next game or the next 2 games, they have a shot to win this thing.
Going back to early season Wayzata, you know, they relied so much last year on Carter Bjerke and Drew Berkland, who are great players.
Yep.
And deserving of all of what they meant to this team. And so I think it just takes a while, even if these guys play together during the summer, to get into game situations and figure it all out together as a group.
Yeah, and they just seemed off. Their timing was off, you know, those first few games, but they figured it out. This looks like as good of a Wayzata team as we've seen, just with the way they share the ball, the way the intensity and the speed, the quickness, the movement that they play with.
Well, despite this afternoon, it's been a great season for White Bear Lake basketball. 2nd place in the Suburban East Conference, knocking off Eastridge in the section final. There's a 3-ball that's in, and Schmidt scores his first basket of the night.
And you know you're feeling it when in transition like that, you run, you pull up from 3 and you knock it down. And Schmidt's another one of those guys. You know, we did their game against Hopkins earlier in the year. There's another nice looking shot, driving kick by Sawyer Collins, knocking it down. But do you remember Jake Schmidt was really the reason they beat Hopkins in that game. He had, I think, 4 or 5 threes just in the second half. So they have different guys that can produce, you know, big games. And to win a state championship, to get to this point, you have to have that. You have to have multiple guys that can step up for you.
That's Sawyer Collins 3, the first bench point scored by White Bear Lake today. We're down to 8:29 to go. Wayzata looking for win number 25 on the season.
Well, and we showed that graphic, how good White Bear Lake has been defensively, only giving up 45 points. And here, just to give you an idea, I mean, Wayzata already had 64 with, you know, still 8.5 minutes left in the game. You know, and different sides of the, you know, it's kind of like in football too. That White Bear Lake, that Woodbury, that Eastridge, it's a different style of basketball too than it is, you know, on the west side. West side is more, you know, speed and quickness and threes and scoring, whereas that White Bear Lake, that area over there, that's that blue collar, right? Yeah. That tough, great defense, great talent too. And you never really know how it's going to match up until you step on the court. And Wayzata, I think just that speed and that scoring been a little overwhelming.
And they were able to increase the tempo partway through that first half and kind of push White Bear Lake out of their comfort zone. And after a lot of early turnovers as well, have taken good care of the basketball since. Tibbetts will drive to the basket and score. 13 points for the senior.
Well, and what happens, John, is when shooters are making shots, the help defense has a tendency to stay home more. And you'll see that time able to go the whole length of the court without anyone getting in front of them, getting a wide open layup. That doesn't happen if you don't have shooters on the floor that have made a bunch of threes, so you can't help.
I said has made 12 three-pointers in the game. Janicki drives, his foul will go to the line for 2.
And you see that whole lane just wide open. You saw Zach Nelson trying to slide over to get in position, but Tibbetts just too quick. And Janicki, second time here in the last minute or so that he's driven hard to the basket. He didn't convert him, but at least he gets to the free throw line. He's got that quick first step and then the length to be able to create and finish.
Hall back in, replacing Nebstead. Janicki's knocking him down from the free throw line here in the last couple of minutes. And it's 66-45, just under 8 minutes to go. Pressure on Tibbetts in the backcourt, off to Hall. Back into Tibbetts. Oh, nice little move. Yeah. A little shake and shimmer and gets in for 2 more.
I mean, such good body control, and he avoids charges. You'll see that little Euro step. Kind of a weird, goofy angle to finish, but you know, when you're only 5'10" and a half, 5'11", you got to find ways to create. And he does such a good job using quickness and also just craftiness too by the basket.
Drive, tough shot, won't go for Kolb. McAndrew rebounds it, and it's stripped away briefly. Now it's Schmidt with it. Schmidt will try to get it off and missed on the pass to Hall. Turnover, Wayzata.
Yeah, had the right idea, just a tough angle to kind of wrap that one around. And here's Tibbet. You know, and it looks awkward, right? That little extra step. Everyone always thinks that might be a travel, but you get that pivot foot. He just does a good job avoiding contact.
Whistle, an injury timeout or Kolba's blood or something. He had to come out. You get a substitution as Sutherland is back into the game for the Bears. Now it's 7 minutes to play. Bear Lake is knocked away by Schmidt. Looks to be bound to the consolation tournament. They would play Buffalo tomorrow at noon at Concordia Academy. Right, that consolation. I've been to those consolation games. You get the parents there and the grandparents, maybe the girlfriends, and that's about it.
Oh, nice move.
A spin move, but no finish for Hawks.
Well, he's got 7 tonight, but you can see why he averages almost 15 a game. He's got nice low post moves. Plays hard. You see him, rebound his own misses too. Nice fake.
Schmidt with a fake. Can't finish, though, and rebounded by Hawks.
Those are the hardest shots. You get a great fake. You're wide open. You just have a tendency to not finish fully, and you miss those short.
Berkland with a steal. Schmidt ahead to McAndrew to Tibbets for 2 more. Great teamwork by Wayzata.
You always say you don't want to see that ball hit the floor. Well, there's 3 passes and finish with a wide open layup.
Sutherland getting past Tibbets. Nelson will put up a 3. Short, rebounded by Schmidt. Has it knocked away. Hawks gets fouled by Schmidt on his way up to the basket.
Yeah, watch this. Look at the hustle by Berkland. Watch it. You get 1 dribble here. The throw ahead to McAndrews. And again, probably could have taken it himself. Ends up giving up a great shot for his teammate. Tibbets able to finish.
Hawks making the first free throw. 8 points for the senior. Opti back in. Bannigan back in for Wayzata.
And you can see the 3 players that average double figures. Janicki at 21. Right now only at 7. But you see Hawks at 15 and Miskin too in double figures.
70-47 as we're inside of 6 minutes to play in the second half. Spencer Hall, the Hobty, and back out to Tibbets. Tibbets will step back 3 and not good. Rebounded by Hawks.
Nice little stop there, right, to create space. Those are always tough. You're going hard. You're kind of fading back. You got to get a little bit more legs so you don't miss short on those.
Hawks spin, shot over Hobty. Pretty good look. Shot wouldn't go on Hobty rebounds. Open 3, Benega.
You get the feeling, John, you've had it all game, that Wayzata can get whatever shot they want whenever they want it. They're just good ball movement, and I'll tell you what, the threes, they're not being contested too. They're wide open threes. They're just too good a shooting team if you give them that many wide open.
Iskin spins and gets fouled. Ryan, basketball world losing an all-time great earlier today. Willis Reed, the New York Knick Hall of Famer, passing away at the age of 80. Young folks might not know about him, but he was a great player. I remember when I was little, we used to get these Scholastic book orders in elementary school. Do you ever remember those? Or you're too young for that. So you could order a book or whatever. I had a Willis Reed poster. It's like a low-angle. I can still picture the poster. Low-angle shot at Madison Square Garden of him going up for the basket.
Well, he was the one that came back injured, right, during the finals. That was one of the legendary performances. Didn't think he would play again. Came back, hit a couple of big jump shots. Ended up helping the Knicks win a championship. So definitely he's immortalized in New York and in the basketball world. It's a weird time, even in college basketball, seeing some of these great coaches retiring, right? Coach K, obviously last year.
Coach Boeheim.
Coach Boeheim just announced it. Roy Williams 2 years ago.
Jay Wright went out.
Yeah.
Yeah. McAndrew put the ball on the floor. Back out Nebstead and into the hands of Schaefer. He'll take it to the basket and score.
Well, he's one of those guys, I think, if Schaefer was on a different team, would probably be a star already. He's so quick. He can shoot. Plays really hard. He's a junior. He's going to get his chance next year. Not that he doesn't have a big role now, but he's going to get a chance to maybe be the team leader next year.
Well, McAndrew, and Nebstead are the three players in the rotation who will be back next season.
Oh,
follow up underneath, not good. White Bear Lake getting a number of opportunities.
Nice
a great finish. Oh, and Nelson can't get it to go. McAndrew in the open court has Hopty with him. McAndrew wants to take it himself, can't get it to go. Hopty back off, tough runner for Bennigan, not good. Nelson rebounds it into the hands of Janicki.
Nice pass.
Janicki, great pass, and the scoop layup by Setterland.
Can't you just see his game at Wisconsin too? Like that style, right? Just smart, making the right plays, not forcing stuff. A couple of great passes, and again, he's at 6'5". You kind of got that advantage where he can see over everyone.
White Bear Lake using its final timeout here. I imagine we'll see more bench players coming in the last 4 minutes here.
Yeah, it's always tricky. I mean, you're up 24. You don't want anyone to get injured now at this point, right? You want to keep everyone healthy, but it's always a fine line. And when is that time to get everyone in and take the starters out as well?
This is our last basketball telecast of the season, Ryan. Channel 45 takes over for the semifinals and finals. It's the final winter sport of the year. And
I'll tell you what.
We'll see it in either baseball or football season. Football for sure.
I'm coming for baseball.
All right.
I'm coming. But I was thinking about this more so than any other year. It seems like just yesterday we were doing Maple Grove Osseo football.
Yeah.
That Thursday game kind of right before school starts, and you blink an eye, and here we are, last broadcast of the season.
And there's been snow on the ground for 5 months.
Yeah. Yes. But always fun to kind of see these teams progress through the year. And again, we talked about basketball. A lot of teams in our area are fortunate to make the state tournament. Maple Grove won in football this year. Of course, hockey, they had a great pro. So we've had a lot of great talent that we've been lucky enough to broadcast this year.
It has been a fun season, no doubt, school year. So the pressure on the inbound forces Wayzata into a turnover. White Bear Lake on the inbound into Janicki. Baseline shot, not good, and rebound by Nebstead. That's a double team and able to get the ball off. And into the hands of Benica. Great
pass.
Hopty gets blocked. Good defensive play by Hawks. Double team in the backcourt, but they get it to Hawks.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Hawks. He didn't give up on that play, went up and got that off the backboard. That's never easy.
And Benega commits the foul on the drive by Kolb. Jeremy Kolb, senior in his last week of high school basketball. Go to the line here for two. First point in the second half. All three of the points for the senior guard have come from the free throw line. Second one also good. Isaac Olmstead, number 15, a freshman, into the lineup for Wayzata. He'll catch the ball here on the wing. Skip pass across. Nebstead. Knocked away. Underneath. Up and in for two. That's Wyatt Macbeth, a sophomore, with the basket.
Yeah, 6'5". I know they think he could have a really bright future here at Wayzata. Not bad. You get in the game, state tournament. Good defense there to block that without falling, but good strength here, and he changed the ball into his left hand. Nice finish.
Well, it's these guys that we don't call as much at the varsity level that are younger players that that you've seen a lot in youth basketball. Like, they're going to be good because Wayzata's always in those championship games, right? At whatever age level it seems like.
Oh, good to see one drop for
Janicki, able to get a three.
Yeah.
His first made three of the day. 77-56, under 3 minutes to go. Drive, tough drive by Schaefer, won't go. Nelson in some trouble, able to get the pass out into the front court. Janicki, number 3.
Yeah. And you can see where he puts that ball, John. It's, as a lefty, it's kind of behind his head to him with that size and length. You really can't do much about it other than contest it.
Oh, almost over and back it is. Yeah. Good defense by Janicki, forces Schaefer into the over and back. Adam Dim, 6'6" junior. Number 31 now in for Wayzata. Well, we talked about White Bear Lake early on needing to try to hold Wayzata down, and here the Trojans are close to their season average, averaging 79.5. Another 2 for Janicki, and they're at 77.
Yeah, and I thought, if White Bear was going to win this game, John, it would have to be that 63-61, or maybe even the high 50s. Wayzata just too good offensively.
Timeout here for Coach Stetler and Wayzata. 1:53 to go.
Yeah, I think just kind of seeing the pressure that White Bear Lake, he doesn't have his starters in there, just trying to help them make sure they get the ball in bounds. And that's the other thing, too, is you want to finish strong, right? You don't want to end up the game sloppy here. You want to make sure you finish the right way.
Well, what a great couple of semifinals we're going to have Thursday night here at Target Center, 6 p.m. Defending state champion Park Center taking on a really good Eastview team. And then at about 8, but more likely closer to 8:30, will be Wayzata against Lakeville North.
I'm going for an all CCX final.
All right,
I'm going
same as last year.
Wayzata Park Center, repeat of last year. That's what I'm shooting for. Lakeville North, again, really tough. Wayzata is going to have to really play a great game tomorrow, but I think they're capable of doing it.
Inbound to Schaefer, and then into the hands of Olmsted into the front court. Now into Macbeth. Back out to Schaefer. And on the steal. Pass ahead. Janicki. Not good. And rebounded by Wayzata. Ball on the floor. Travel. Back over the Bears with just over a minute and a half to go. And that is, Officials can wipe their legs like that. How was that off of us? They thought that was clearly deflected, and the referee saw it otherwise, and Macbeth will inbound for Wayzata.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Shot up, not good on the try from Dim. Niskin into the front court for the Bears. Almost lost it in front of his bench. Gets it back out. Janicki put up a 3. It comes up short. And the rebound to Dim. In the backcourt, Olmsted dribbles through a couple of players. Olmsted trying to feed it through. Pass back out. And a great finish. After another really nice pass by Macbeth. He was in trouble. Gets it back to Adam Dim. And the junior able to finish.
Yeah, to get that, it was going out of bounds, right? To keep his momentum, Macbeth, and save that great pass. Good finish.
Out of 40 seconds to go. White Bear Lake having some players are trying to sub in here. Ball lost on the floor by Cole. Back out. Nelson will put up a shot. Not good. On the floor. Here comes Wayzata in transition. Nice behind the back pass. Shot up. Not good. Tip follow-up up and in. 2 more for Macbeth. Got 4 points here late.
Hey, he's got good length too. It's nice having 6'4", 6'5" guys coming in on your bench too.
Well, I think White Bear Lake
just threw the ball out of bounds, didn't they?
Yeah, they got their guys into the game for a couple of seconds. I like that move, just to get these guys on the floor for target setter and say they played in the state tournament. Even if it was only 2 seconds, that's it.
And a chance to recognize the seniors too in their last game as well.
So close game early, but then Wayzata pulls away the number 3 seed. Really good out. Look for them midway through that first half and controlling the game the rest of the way.
Yeah, and they did kind of what you and I talked about, that they do well and needed to do well to win, and that was make shots, play fast, create, driving kicks, and their pressure defense. They did it all in great depth, great balance too.
13 made 3-pointers for Wayzata. They share the ball so well that the drive and kick that we talk about so often for Wayzata worked well for them today.
Well, what I always like to look at, we obviously don't have the stats, John, but it's what percent of your made baskets were assisted on, right? And I would bet it's 80 to 90% for Wayzata, and that's a great team stat. Not a lot of ISO forcing bad shots. They move the ball, drive and kick, give up a good shot for a great shot. That was the textbook Wayzata win right here to open up the first round of the state tournament.
White Bear Lake drops to 21-8 and into the consolation bracket. Wayzata now 25-4 and on to the semifinals Thursday night against Lakeville North here at Target Center. Thanks, Ryan, for a great season. Thanks to all our crew who've been here all day. A lot of our crew have been here since before 7 a.m. for that Park Center 10 a.m. game. Here we are at dinner time, and they're still here. And
I know they appreciate you opening up the credit card for them to order whatever they want to eat.
Absolutely.
So we all appreciate that too. Now, thank you, John. Thank you, everyone, and look forward to seeing everyone soon. Should be a fun couple days here at the Target Center.
For Ryan and all of our crew, I'm John Jacobson. Final score again here, Class 4A quarterfinal round game. It's Wayzata moving on. They win it over White Bear Lake. 81-61 Trojans, the final.